G'day guys, what are we faced with? Randwick, 6 metre rail today, soft 5 surface and not a lot of rain, so should be pretty close to the mark. That little concern that the fence may be not ideal, like this 6 to 8 metre position is normally pretty good for sort of lead and fence and sort of not having to roll too far off in the inside. And the straight certainly makes it more difficult to run on from back and wide if that inside section's good. So certainly having a good look at that early in the program, set it up kind of for them to roll 2 or 3 off in the straight maybe. So sort of outside leader, 1 out, 1 back, 1 out, 2 back, probably the best positions, but not impossible that leading on the fence is good too. So, well, not impossible. It's probably more than likely that's not too bad as well. Behind leader, might be okay. So, again, knocked off the first 5 races here. Just that time of year, it just seems to be more prudent to just have a look at 1 or 2 before sending the second half out. I'll certainly prepare it with the same sort of pattern in mind. I think it should be that way, but as I said, to sort of knock these first 5 over and come back with a better picture. Sorry if I start wincing, I'm absolutely cast. Race 1 is a pretty tough start to the day. Thought there were a bunch of queries here. I thought the horses with the least sort of queries against them were Boot Scooter and Red Boulevard, both of them coming off really solid performances. Where Red Boulevard gets in the run from sort of an awkward draw, probably have a look at the draw here. You can see sort of a lot of horses want to kick up on the inside, and then there's sort of query runners everywhere. Nothing really wants to get right out the back, so we could have pressure early, may not. It's just a pretty ugly race, and that's what sort of turns me off the race completely, really, and demanding, solid value to want to play in the race at all. Like that. Sorry, I can't even have a shower. I'm going well. So from the top, I'm a True Star. Like the horses, I think have got good chances. I'm a True Star ran okay first up. Love that it went back to the trials. Thought it trialled quite well in between runs, just where it gets to again from the gate. Has the ability to run well. 1400 metres is a little query. Second up, but that trial in between helps. I'm not an Optimo fan. Boot Scooter I thought ran really well last start. The ride certainly what cost it the race, just got checked out early. Not all of the jockey's fault, but sort of the run in transit it had, we'll call. And then coming to the turn, just hit a bit of a flat spot and got going late when it was off and gone. Back in distance is a little bit of a query for this horse, where it gets to in the run as a query. But if it has an uninterrupted passage and a card up, it should run very well, that's for sure, and should be strong late. Fighting Magnus is from one of the most dangerous stables you'll ever see. First up, no trial is very scary. They don't bring them here for nothing. The horse profiles well enough at this sort of distance range to run well if it's ready to go, which you would say is likely. So it's a dangerous horse. Fighting Magnus, Listomania still has the earmuffs on, which is certainly a bit of a nightmare. This horse just really struggling to find any sort of pace early in its races. And that's a bit of an issue for sure. If it sort of does jump somehow and travels, it can run a race here. Certainly Listomania, another horse that I was worried about, the 1400, but it did win 1350 sitting outside the leader on a fast speed before it went for a break. But that was just such an ugly race, I just can't really get my head around it. That was a real guide, so it's just a bit of a nightmare of a horse. Overextends going okay, worried about it. 1400 metres. Sir Ravanelli's a very good horse. Anyone who's sort of known me or enters the chat room or read any of my previews for the last 12 years knows that Jeff Keogh is one of the scariest riders in the world. What he's capable of, no one knows. On any one day, he could do anything. So he's on Sir Ravanelli. He's the worry for Sir Ravanelli. He's what a wide draw there. He could end up like jamming the race and completely bugger it all for everyone, or the horse could keep going. It's got ability. I'm worried about it. Like action-wise, it sort of ducks in and out from its action. I think it does have issues, the horse. Just more queries. Red Boulevard, as we said, ran really well first up, really slow tempo, great ride, every possible chance, but did run good time and put them away and was strong to the line there, so it has plenty of upside. Will I chime into $3.80? Absolutely not. Where will it be from the gate? I don't know. And the rest are pretty average. Matata was probably the best of the other 3. Just a really tough race full of queries. You can see I sort of poked holes or found reasons why you could or couldn't back every runner. So for me, that makes it extraordinarily difficult. Race 1. Race 2, much more simple. I think Journalism will kick up and lead. I think went too slow last start, and jumping in distance certainly better suited here with more control. Different jockey, should see its chance. I expect Timpanus to try and hold its back. Thought it went quite good there last week, even though it was in the right spot on the rail there in the run. Got to the middle and chased a really slow tempo. Thought it finished off okay. Should bring it to a nice peak here fitness-wise if we can hold the back of Journalism, and that inside section's good. Expect it to run well. The other favourite in the race, Deficit, really needs a cold ride. I'm worried about it at a strong mile and think it's very short in the market. I'm not a big Journalism fan, but I think it can improve here. Does sort of peak fitness-wise and gets the right run. And Timpanus is the other horse that can sort of sit behind it and get the right run. That's why I'm with them. This horse out here, Indifference, is the horse that sort of put two very well placed wins away. Had the tempo to suit last start and chimed in. Got a little bit tired late there. Steps up to 1,600 metres here. Can improve again fitness-wise. Is it up to this level? You'd have to say it's got a good chance of measuring up. It's just more of where it's going to be in the run. If it drew soft, I'd be far more scared of it. But I think Journalism and Timpanus have the edge just because of the map here. This horse, Pool Pony, was just a weird run first up. I have to forgive it, but it's going to be last and face the task. But no surprise to see it improve significantly. And Colino's the other one in the betting. May as well talk about that. I just worried about it at a strong mile too. It does get a good rider change, but just a bit weak the other day in the right part of the track to want to back it stepping up in distance. Race 3 is Impossible. You can read my preview if you want. I don't even really want to spend much time on it. I do think the horse that can improve is Pandora Blue if it can hold the front back out to 1,100 metres and that inside section's okay. Hard fit horse, stable going very well. And the only horse I could find with real confidence, I thought Rifles is going quite well, but again faces a near impossible task potentially. Overcame it last start. We got odds to compensate there. Probably get him again here, but very, very difficult race. And that's all I probably want to talk about. Race 4. Race 3. Race 4. See, the map's interesting. I doubt Royal Return will try and hold the front. I expect Dehorn Unicorn to sort of roll forward, and whether Huesca gets the front or sits outside. Dehorn Unicorn's probably the question on the race. Is the inside okay? I think Dehorn Unicorn and Huesca should control the race and prove very difficult to beat. I think they should both run well, both very well set up, both strong on paces that can kick from sort of 600 metres out and sustain a run. They're not horses that you're really going to see dash up fast. If they overdo it up front, that'll play into the hands of Bakari Kari and Pretty Wild, who both look to have a nice turn of foot. But where will they be in the run? They both could be buried back towards the inside. And if those two runners up front control things, certainly a difficult, much more difficult task than what they faced at their previous starts. Both Bakari Kari and Pretty Wild, but both of them have good upside and can win the race. I think there's 4 really good winning chances, and I think Royal Return is the big value for the exotics players and a rough hope of winning the race back on a dry surface from a soft draw. I think it's going extremely well for another stable that's going extremely well. Race 5, last race I'll do here at the moment is Love the Invasion. Looks like it's just going to cruise to the front from the outside draw. Dry track certainly okay for it. I think it's a positive, and I think it's the first time this preparation it's been set up really well. Certainly the hardest race it's faced, but I think that Tinny Winnie form's pretty good. I know it sort of didn't go that great last week, but I think there were excuses there. I think it was a bit flat, so Love the Invasion's got that extra week under its belt to come back from that run at Canterbury and looks to get its own way in front. I doubt that Nothing Sweet About Me will really push the tempo. Niffler will get its chance again. Really honest horse, just getting up in the weight, 61.5, 2 off for Chris Williams. Chris Williams is the reason why I'm going Combella Fee's way. Love-hate relationship with Mr. Rhys Jones that again everyone's pretty aware of, but I think if he sort of crosses flexible early, ends up outside my Demetra and gets on the back of Niffler, it should run really well here. Mount Combella Fee just going really well. I think it's got more upside than Niffler. I think it's a stronger horse than Niffler, and I think if it gets to sit on the back of it, it'll overpower it. Whether they get past Love the Invasion, I think, is the question. So for me, I think Love the Invasion's a value at around $11, and Combella Fee around $3, $3.50 is a takeable price. I'm avoiding $2.60-ish about Niffler. I think it should be sort of closer to $5 or $6 if I wanted to back it in this race with that rider aboard. So that's the first 5. Nothing too exciting there. I think that's probably the best betting race, race 5. For sure it is, actually. I think that's probably the best betting race on the first half of the program. Could be the best betting race of the day. Nothing too exciting there, as I said, like backing 2 horses, and one of them's around 350. So, nothing too crazy, that's for sure. Race 2, maybe Journalism and Timpanus is not a bad 2-horse play, but I'd be much more cautious on it than the one in race 5. I'll come back when I've got more information at hand. Thanks, guys.